competition the other day here, but he's up against the tall drink of water from down under, Scotty James.
He does have the red boxing gloves on, right? As tradition.
As tradition. We're going to have to see if Scotty can take it home again. I mean, that's a lot. That's 2 years of victories right now under his belt.
And here's the list we were talking about. Louis Vito back, 5-time Dew Tour champion in the field. Jan Shear, Jake Pates, that you mentioned, Pat Bergener is in there, Udo, and then look at the Americans in that middle section. Taylor Gold, Toby Miller, Chase Josie, and Danny Davis before we get to Scotty James, who has been the most dominant half-pipe rider over the last 2 years.
Yeah, there's going to be a lot of pressure to put together that perfect run. 3 runs, best of 3, so it gives these guys a little bit of breathing room. Remember, the modified section is up top. There's going to be kind of gaps, and you can hit these hips into these big landings, and then it's into 2 or 3 hits in the modified Superpipe to get it going. It's all about overall impression. How technical is your line? How big are you going? How hard are your combos?
All right, before we get started, let's check in with Tina D.
Thanks, Todd. And right now, there is such a good energy out here at the base of the half-pipe, and you can see Mother Nature is really starting to cooperate for this half-pipe contest. Now, in traditional half-pipe contests lately, they have been dominated by Scotty James, with Japan's Yuto Tatsuka close on his heels. Now, both of them have some new, bigger skills this year, most notably Scotty James' frontside double cork 1440. So the question is, where and how do they incorporate them on a course that is different? And also some new riders that we haven't seen in pipe contests lately. Danny Davis is here, and Louis Vito. You guys mentioned those, and I just spoke to Louis Vito, and he is excited to be part of this modified Superpipe contest.
Well, it's good to have Louis back in the field alongside the snowboarding icon Todd Richards. I'm Todd Harris. Glad to have you with us on the final day of Dew Tour 2020 here at Copper Mountain, and it has been amazing, Todd. The stat I got to throw out, 37 inches of snow over 72 hours.
Yeah, and it just seemed like it all came at once. I mean, trying to go out and ride, this is on Friday morning. I brought a pow board here thinking I'd be the guy who could come out of the lodge all smug. I got my pow board. It was so deep that you barely could even move. But the last couple days here, you want to talk about incredible conditions in Colorado right now. This is where you want to be. Come up to Copper Mountain and hang out.
No question about it. And I know you want to give some love to the folks at SPT who have done a great job. That's not easy moving that much snow.
It's not. And they're kind of the unsung heroes of the Dew Tour. Is, when you get 36 inches, you're like, oh, this is killer. But someone's got to move that and get it off the jump so we can actually have a competition. So the guys at Snow Park Technologies, also the Woodward Park crew here, that are putting together all the terrain parks up on the hill here at Copper, they have a truly thankless job. So say thanks. If you see a Woodward Park staff guy on the hill, say thanks for raking and shoveling while we were riding waist-deep pow.
There's a beautiful view of Copper Mountain, the new home of the Dew Tour. As we get set, as we bring down the curtain on the final day of Dew Tour Competition 2020, we've got the men's snowboard modified Superpipe. Then we'll have snowboard slope for the women, and we'll wrap things up with the women's ski slopestyle competition. And there he is, Louis Vito, originally from Bellefontaine, Ohio, now residing in the greater Salt Lake City, Utah area. 31 years of age, still getting it done. 5-time Dew Tour champion. He is just the international man of mystery, doing a little bit of this, a little bit of that.
So Louis Vito, we haven't seen him in a couple years in Dew Tour competition, but he is back. He's been riding very strong. Look at that big old double 900 off of the hip. And then straight into the Superpipe, throwing another double right here. Louis, his biggest strength is basically being able to squeak out tricks when there isn't a lot of speed. And today, with this fresh snow, it could really play to Louis Vito's skill set.
Looks like he has not missed a beat. A great opening run for Louis Vito as he drops in and shows his creative skill here in the modified Superpipe.
Yeah, it started off up top. You got those channel features. Louis with the frontside alley-oop over this. Big old frontside air, setting him up for the double cork 900. And he comes in here. Watch as he stomps this out. Whoa. So basically you're hitting that like a jump. That's where your jump skills are going to come into play. And then straight into throwing right here the switch double. So Louis making it happen, getting 2 hits in the modified Superpipe. And then down here the crippler. Big old roast beef grab. Grabbing in between the legs. I think he got like 3 pokes out of that back leg.
I was going to say, was he poking it out? A little extra something for the judges at the bottom, so Louis Vito will set the standard here at the first run of 3 in the modified Superpipe competition. Just great to have him back, a 5-time champion, and he drops a 70 on run number 1.
He's going to check in with a 70. So Vito will get a 70, and he'll have 2 more runs.
International theme continues on here at the Dew Tour. This is Jan Scheer out of Switzerland, a regular footer, so he'll start in his normal riding stance with his left foot forward in a 3-run format as the skies begin to clear here at Copper Mountain. The sun actually peeking out.
Yeah, the forecast is for more snow, though, later on this afternoon. So this is the way it's being judged once again. So you do get 3 runs, best of 3, but the judges, they really want to see you put these combinations together up top. You can't just half pipe this thing. They put all that effort into this to put these features on up top. You need to be doing tricks up there and maximizing your point score. Now into the back-to-back portion. Straight into a 1260. Combo that into a big 900. That was a great run right there.
Yep.
You can see you've got to pick out your best pipe tricks, your best two-hit combo, and put that into the traditional super pipe while combining that with maybe some non-traditional jumping skills, some gaps over those channels up top.
Todd, we talk a lot about the international field. The Japanese riders have a certain style. How about the European riders? Can you see a different flair that they bring?
Yeah, you know, they do. As a switch McTwist over that channel, then into a big 540 right there. Yeah, it's the European riders are really technical.
Yeah.
Look at that 1260 right there, frontside 1260, and then straight into the backside 9. Watch this. Got control on that, basically holds it through the entire rotation. That was a great run to start things off. You got 3 runs, best of 3. And if that's the way you're going to put down run number 1, you know there's some fireworks coming in run 2 and 3.
So Louis Vito, the first athlete to drop in, dropped a 70 on his first run of 3. And then it's Jan Scheer, the 25-year-old out of Switzerland, just gave his first offering, and it's going to be a 90.
Wow, here we go.
So, folks, this is run 1 of 3, and we've already got someone in the 90 club.
Yeah, and it's by virtue of that switch McTwist over the channel, comboing that big frontside 12. So that's how you got to do it. You got to bring the technical, and you got to be smooth.
Next man to drop in will be American Jake Pates. Pates, a 2017 Dew Tour champion, participated in the 2018 Olympic Games where he finished 8th in maybe one of the heaviest half-pipe competitions ever. Pates, no stranger to this part of the country, resides in Eagle, Colorado, just up the 70 near Vail.
Yeah, and he's got some amazing tricks. He's got insane backside 1260 tail grab. Let's see what he's going to bring up here. Now the channel's up top. This is where, you know, I think you kind of set your run off. If you can get something strong over these channels, the judges really start to pay attention. Here we go. He's going to go frontside first. Big alley-oop rodeo. And then into the shark fin. Double 900. Taking it long with it. Air into the pipe. Big front 12. Kind of missed the grab on that. And then into a double Michael Chuck. So that was a hard combo. I'd like to see him get his hand on that frontside 1260, but he's happy with that one.
So, Todd, a lot of these guys only getting 2 hits in the super pipe. That's a lot of distance to carry 300 feet. Are the judges giving a little bit of a pass, or are they going to want to see a 3rd, maybe even a 4th hit?
Well, it just depends on if you can fit it in. If your 2 hits are pretty spectacular, I don't think they're going to dock you on it, but I think it really comes down to how you land over that hip feature. You know, your line to carry that speed, especially today with that fresh snow, may take you a little bit further down the wall of the half pipe than it would normally on a back-to-back traditional half pipe day. Here's that double 9, dipping that shoulder twice, taking those jump skills into play. And then here is the frontside 1260, kind of misses the grab. Run number 2, I look for him to clean that up, and then up and over the double Michael Chuck. So here we go, there's that frontside 1260. And then straight into this. Once, twice, up and over, double Michael Chuck there to end off that run. So great way to start your campaign. Got to get your hand on that frontside 1260 though.
90 is the mark to beat right now. A 78.66 for the 2017 Dew Tour champion Jake Pates will put him into 2nd place. Aerial view of the modified super pipe here at Copper Mountain. Last year was the first year the Dew Tour rolled it out and it worked so well they thought, let's do it again.
Yeah, it's so cool to have that variety up top, just those channels. You know, you feel like you're accomplishing something when you're clearing a big gap that's been cut out of the wall.
Another Swiss rider, Pat Bergener, now set to drop in from Crans, Montana. 25-year-old with a Swiss rider on top. Jan Shears, 90, leads the way.
And Pat Bergner is a very technical rider. He's got some amazing switch backside tricks. Switch backside rodeo 540. Coming into this Superpipe. Up and over twice, big double, kind of didn't really get his hand on that. Into a cab double. Now he's getting 3 hits in here. Alley-oop rodeo nose grab. We're gonna have to see how that plays in.
Interesting.
So, pretty tight run. He did miss the grab on that first 1080. And the judges these days, this is 2020.
They see everything.
If your hands are not on your board and you're showing that ultimate control and you're just doing some kind of crazy wakeboard move, they're gonna dock you for it. There's the big alley-oop 360. And I like that setup for the switch backside rodeo. 540 into the landing. And here's where, no, he had hot board. You don't want to be grabbing both knees right there. That is called the flying meatball. Judges do not like to see the flying meatball. They want to see one hand on, holding all the way through, just like that right there. That was a great example of how to pull it. And then squeaking that last hit in with the big alley-oop nose grab, 540.
Pat Burr's a real international man of mystery, a Renaissance man into music, photography, and of course, snowboarding. Jan Shears' score leads it right now with a 90. Jake Pates in second, and Louis Vito currently sitting in third place. 75 for Pat Bergner. He'll move into third place here, run number 1 of 3. Yuto Tatsuka, just 18 out of Japan, and Todd, he has been so strong, coming off a silver medal performance at the X Games, just off the big win at the Mammoth Grand Prix just a week ago, and here he is, maybe the biggest threat to Scotty James' 2-year reign at the top of snowboarding's royalty.
Yeah, absolutely. Look at that alley-oop 540 over the channel. Yuto goes absolutely huge as well. There's that 900, the double cork, 2 drops to the shoulder. Here we go. This is Yuto's big strength. Wow. Giant frontside 1440. Straight into a huge double grab 1080. That was a tech combo. Giant.
That 14 was unbelievable.
Frontside 1440. First person to throw down the 1440. He won the Grand Prix very recently.
Yeah.
I mean, jeez Louise.
Now, he won the Grand Prix, but Scotty James did not travel to Mammoth. That's
true.
The only caveat there.
It's true. But he definitely put the rest of the riders on notice here. There's that double 9, which typically, if you were traditionally hitting it in the pipe wall, would end up being a 1080 just by virtue of the wall. But there's that front side 1440. Unreal. And then combos that into a double grab, tip to tail 1080. Let's watch this from above.
Makes it look so small, though. I mean, it gives you an idea of just how big the course is.
Yeah, alley-oop 360, travels down, hits the feature, the shark fin feature, doubles it up in the 900 right there, and then straight watch how big this frontside 1440 is. 1 to 2, spins it around, 1440, sets him up so perfect. And then just into that huge 1080. Unreal.
Mark to beat is a 90 right now. That could change as Jan Shear has the highest score on run number 1 in this 3-run format. And if that's what Yuto's got offering for run number 1, oh my, what he's going to do on 2 and 3.
Yeah, and it definitely may contribute to how Scotty and Danny Davis, the 2 odds-on favorites here, are going to interpret this.
Yeah,
oh
92
boy.
for Yuto Tatsuka. Into first place with a 92. And folks, we're just getting started. A lot of people use run number 1 as a warm-up, not so much for Yuto Tatsuka. Taylor Gold second at last week's Grand Prix in Mammoth behind the aforementioned Yuto Tatsuka, looking for something special here. Had a great showing at the X Games, finishing in the 6th place, but then he also came back with that style session, doing quite well.
He has a new trick as well. He's got the double backside rodeo 1080. Let's see if he can set that up in this run. Here he comes in here. Switch backside 900. Not able to land that one, so he will be opting for run number 2 and 3.
Todd, it's amazing that yesterday during the Snowboard Slopestyle competition, we had 7 riders get into the 90s. We've already got 2 here after we're not even out of the first run.
Yeah, it's going to be a heavy comp day. I mean, I think that this format just allows everyone to relax a little bit more. And it's all about the line up top. You know, you take this line into the channel gap, and then you kind of cross down into another jump, and then you've got to combo that into carrying enough speed into your first and second hit in the pipe. There's a lot to think about. It can be a little bit overwhelming, too, for a rider to pick out the perfect line.
So Taylor Gold's 25.33 becomes his throwaway. As Todd mentioned, he'll have runs 2 and 3 still to go, and really high up above the course right now. I'll give you a beautiful view of most of Copper Mountain and the valley down there. There's West Village.
You can see just the scale of the modified Superpipe. You got those 2 hits up top, and then straight into a traditional Superpipe. There's a lot going on for these riders to take advantage of.
Next athlete to drop in is someone I think will do very well in this modified Superpipe competition. This is young Toby Miller, 19, out of Mammoth. Just great when he is forced to improvise.
Yeah, so Toby Miller, one of the younger competitors here. He's this next generation of pipe riders that's coming up. And you remember, back when we were in Pyeongchang, he was traveling around with Shaun White as his personal photographer. What
different
in God's name was that? I think that is called the Lawn Dart 180. That was nuts too. Toby with completely wacky tricks. I don't even know what that was. It was kind of like a double Michael Chuck come out the opposite way.
Well, just to give you an idea of what we're in store for in runs 2 and 3 for Toby Miller is he has issues up top, but yeah, the lawn dart to start things off, that'll get the judges thinking.
I would like to see a replay of what just went down, because it was like a, watch this. He comes in, puts pressure on his nose, nollies into a lawn dart, ollieing off his nose. You know, throw back to the late Ben Hinckley, who pioneered that move. And then this right here, some kind of a crazy double Barrett Christie roll into late 180.
Look at you going deep.
I am going deep because I've never seen anyone do that before.
Barrett Christie getting love with the 2020 Dew Tour. Toby Miller, he'll definitely look to runs 2 and 3, and we're excited to look runs 2 and 3 with him, because I want to see the dart and the double up again.
Double up against. That's what we got. Oh my gosh.
So now we're down to the top 3 here in the men's first run of the modified Superpipe. It'll be Chase Josie, Danny Davis, and then Scotty James.
Here we go, Chase Josie coming in. His first hit, alley-oop 540. And then straight into this hip. Nice.
Oh, again.
Unfortunately for Chase, going down. That was so clean.
Yeah.
Great style.
Super cool look.
Poked out. It was going to be a great setup trick for the pipe. So Chase runs 2 and 3. He's got technical combos, and he is a jumper as well. Chase Josie can rip a slopestyle course, so I look for him in run number 2 and 3. I did like the combo up top. That alley-oop 540 rodeo was so clean. Jams that nose bone out. Tried to set it up with a 900 up top. Unfortunately,
he got bucked pretty hard.
Yeah, he just kind of came up short a little bit on the rotation. Didn't have enough airtime.
So the young man from Sun Valley now down to 2 runs of 3. Here he is, Danny Davis, the Grand Master of Style. He has been around the game for a long time, a 5-time Dew Tour champion, 2 of those coming at Breckenridge, and he is really championing lavender this year. He's really feeling it.
Yeah.
I respect it.
You know, the new trend right now is top to bottom matching.
Head to toe.
I can't handle it. Looks like I'm wearing a full suit. Here we go, Danny Davis into the frontside hit. Nice 720 over the channel, then into the hip. This will be the cab 9. Nice, Danny keeping it up on his feet. Giant inverted frontside 540. And then into the McTwist, kind of getting a little bit loose, letting go of his board early. Into a front 9. So Danny getting 3 solid hits in there. Only critique I've got for him is he's got to keep his hand on that McTwist. Kind of got away from him a little bit. The judges know what he's capable of. They know that he can keep his arm locked on there and pull it up behind him, so they'll dock him points against himself pretty much. But here we see front 7 nose grab over the channel. And then into the 900 here. Gets that Indy. Comes around on that clean. And I mean, I don't know if you guys know it. And if you don't know it, I'm going to tell you right now. Danny Davis used to be one of the best slopestyle riders in the business for quite some time, and he's still like an insane jumper, but you just don't think about him. You think about him in half-pipe situations, but Danny's one of the best jumpers out there.
He has so much style. When he goes out to ride, it just makes it look easy and fun.
Yeah, it's because typically Danny is making it up as he goes along. And when we look here from the top, you can see just how big these walls are. It basically looks like an ant rolling down through like a cereal bowl. It comes in with a 900 tail grab at the end. So Danny getting 3 hits in.
Mark to beat right now, Yuto Tatsuka's 92. Danny Davis will check in with that 68.33, and he'll look to runs 2 and 3. It has been more than 2 years since Scotty James lost a competition that he entered. Taken back to 2018 in Pyeongchang, he was the bronze medalist. As Sean White walked away with the gold in that one, but he's coming off a huge performance at X Games just down the road in Aspen. And he has just had a tear through every competition. Right now, he's looking at a big score to overtake, and it's Yuto Tatsuka. Todd, he's maybe the most technical. He's one of the tallest riders, so it's just aesthetically pleasing to watch him ride.
Well, it is hard to make snowboarding look good when you're over 6 feet tall. I'm sorry, it just is in style. Big switch rodeo flip, start things off. Then into a big double 900. So Scotty already getting some work done. Coming in, this will be a front side double 1260. There it is. And then into potentially a backside 1260. Okay, so back-to-back 1260s. Switch Michael Chuck.
Do you like it, or do you like the 14 better?
Oh, hey, I'll take whatever he's throwing down. But right now, as far as like Scotty James building a score house, that's the way to get going. See how the judges reward. He knows right now that Yuto's got that 14, but I think Scotty's upper half of that run was better. That was a switch stance backside Michael Chuck, which is like off-axis 540 spin. There's a double 900. And then straight here, Stalefish, frontside 1260 double cork, perfect. Scotty does that trick in his sleep, and then comboing that into the backside 1260. That was a great combo. Standing tall, confident, no mistakes at all. Precision. Scotty is a surgeon when it comes to putting together technical lines in the pipe. Not a sturgeon, a surgeon.
How important was this competition to him? He skipped the Grand Prix last week in Mammoth to focus on the Dew Tour in this modified Superpipe. And Todd, I think it showed. He's coming off a huge performance, as we said, winning the X Games, and he came straight here to get training on this modified Superpipe, and this score should be huge. Yeah, a 95.3, Scotty James into first. Wow, that is a monster score with the red boxing gloves on. As we send it down to the crowd, that's where Tina Dixon is with the man who leads the competition.
Yeah, and Scotty's been so dominant in half-pipe competitions. This one's a little different. How refreshing has it been for you to formulate a new line?
Yeah, it's. I would say a lot of us riders would say this course has been testing, to say the least. Yeah, everyone has been finding their way throughout the week, and honestly I'm very grateful we've had quite a bit of practice because it's been challenging, but we're all half-pipe riders here, which is what I think is special about this event, and we have to adapt and learn and come out and do the best we can.
Yeah, and those top 2 features are tricky. How important is it to hit your marks on those?
It is, for sure. I mean, especially on days like today where there's a little bit of snow. It's kind of been the trend all week where you got to be pretty much flawless and have really good execution on all your tricks so you can maintain speed and bring that all the way through the course. So.
Well, what a great first run. Thanks, Scotty.
Thanks, guys.
One run complete of 3. Scotty James leads the way with a 95.3. Yuto Tatsuka in second, and Jan Scheer sitting in third. New ideas and creativity continue to shape snowboarding, and Mountain Dew riders Danny Davis, Red Gerard, and Julia Marino take the things around them and dream up new ways to push snowboarding into the future. And this modified Superpipe here at Copper Mountain is Exhibit A.
I think for every snowboarder it's important for it to be fun and creative, or else it just gets stale. You want something bigger or different to ride.
Creativity is one of the biggest fundamental aspects of snowboarding in general. It's not necessarily just huge stuff. It's simple stuff that just looks good.
Keeping snowboarding progressive and fun is one of the biggest things ever, and I think one of the more important things in snowboarding. Every contest you see new tricks that you haven't seen before. I think is something cool that Do Tour does is hit every slopestyle snowboarder and half-pipe snowboarder in their weak spot.
Yeah, we dreamt up Peace Park because we were just kind of getting bored of the same old half-pipe, same old slopestyle course. You can take so many different lines through this park. Whether it's just like a berm or some whoops, like it's all stuff that we've kind of experimented with, and these guys are now taking and putting it into the everyday terrain parks.
Do Tour is always the best at creating really cool, creative courses, and every year they blow my mind.
And there it is, the modified Superpipe here at Do Tour 2020 Copper Mountain. It is a thing of beauty as we get set for the second runs of 3. Scotty James leads the way, just laid down a 95.3 and spoke to Tina Dixon. Look at this, Mary Walsh joining us. I mean, talk about things of beauty. The photographer, journalist extraordinaire, and I've got a snowboarding icon to my left. I mean, this is royalty to about right here. So your impressions of run number 1?
Well, I mean, I'm always really impressed with these guys, but taking what they're doing in the normal half pipe and taking it to the modified half pipe presented by Toyota, of course, thank you. It's just really exciting to see the extra creativity and adding that the first couple hits in there before they get into the traditional half pipe. It really takes things up a notch, and you can see it's brought a lot to the table.
I thought it was interesting what Scotty said to Tina, that this is really testing them.
Yeah.
And when you test great athletes, good things usually happen.
And also, you listen to what Red was saying too. It's like, Do Tour has come out and kind of hit riders in their weak spot. And I think that's really important. You get used to riding the same thing. And what does that do? It just produces boredom. Because, we've done so many half-pipe contests over the past couple years. You're calling people's runs before they even drop in. I don't want that. I want to be shocked. And that's why, this is a really great format.
Well, prepare to be shocked. Louis Vito dropping on his second run. We'll see what he does. Or does he change things up? He's currently sitting on a 70, Mary, and that has him in 6th place.
With Louis Vito, too, you know that 70 is not making him stoked. He really wants to bring that back up.
Yeah, and Louis kind of getting lost in his line right there. I'm just stoked to see him out here. The dude he's won so many
5-time Do Tour champion. I saw him back at NBC Sports headquarters a few weeks ago. He was in the gym hard, early in the morning, going through it because he's like, I'm taking this serious. This isn't just a
That's right. Commentating is serious. You need to hit the gym. You need to be ready.
Jan Scheer now, who really shocked everyone on his first run. He came out and threw down a 90. Mary, that's something in competition snowboarding. You rarely see a score that big on someone's first run of 3.
And that is probably, I'm very excited to see what he's going to do the second run because that's going to give him the confidence to try new things right now.
How's that switch McTwist to start things off over the channel? Mary, it's you watch these guys, and I know that you've documented so many of these riders for Snowboarder Magazine. How cool is it to see people kind of like putting on their jump game? Because you don't really traditionally see it. You don't consider these guys to be jumpers.
Oh, I love it. It's amazing. Well, competition nowadays is so high level. But it's so high level that it's very specialized, and you don't see much crossover between half pipe, slopestyle like you used to, 5, 10, 15 years ago. So getting to have them in the mix with the jumps is amazing. Because so many of these guys are really talented in other arenas, and we just never get to watch it on this scale.
I know he doesn't want me to say it, but Louis Vito's score was a 9.66, so that's a throwaway for run number 2. He'll look to run number 3. Jan Scheer probably in the same situation here, Todd. The upper section looked pretty good, but then had issues. Was he going for a Miller?
Yes, he was going for a Miller flip right here.
Not a Chris Miller.
No, not a Chris Miller. Comes up, kind of just gets caught on top and thrown into the flat. Now, 22-foot deep Superpipe, that's like falling out of a 2-story window when you hit the lip and fall into the middle of it.
44 for him, so throwaway
boy.
getting spotty in the crowd.
I had that thing on the other day. My God, it smells really bad in there.
What do you mean you had that thing on? That's a real Yeti.
It's like a wet dog wrapped in a diaper. It's horrible.
God.
What's not disgusting is this modified Superpipe. As we continue on in run number 2, Jake Pate's now set to drop in, the 2017 Do Tour champion. Had a good-looking run early on, Todd. Then he had some bobbles, and this is a full pole competition. There's nowhere to hide. The judges, Mary, you've seen it. The camera don't lie.
No, there's nothing like that they're not going to catch up here. And those judges are hawks. Chad Otterstrom down there, Colorado local. Wow, that was impressive.
Yeah, you know, they're just as active on social media pointing out your I think I just heard a board break. Did you hear that snap when he hit?
Hopefully not a bone. It was a board.
That wasn't a bone.
You'll get it back up.
But it could be a binding or a board. Usually when you hear that clacky noise when people slam. But just to continue that thought, a lot of these judges, you know, they're not afraid to call you out, and that slow motion is the great equalizer. If you are hitting something and you're not getting your grab, you can't fake it like you used to be able to. There's no selling missing grabs.
And we appreciate that, I think, because, you know, as viewers and spectators of these events, like, you want to really see the best snowboarding that you can see, and that's what these guys, they don't come to mess around. They really show you what is going on.
Yeah, and this morning, you know, when I first woke up and there was that fresh snow, and to watch them come around here, just kind of clipping the wall. The fresh snow, I was like, oh no, it's going to be another waxing event, but it's not. It seems like everyone's boards. Yeah, you hear that click? I don't know what that was. Maybe it's a loose cell phone. Who knows?
Always a terrifying sound.
It's true.
So Jake Pates, shrug it off. He'll be good to go as Pates looks to his third and final run. A 21.66 becomes a throwaway. Competition rolls on with Pat Bergner. We saw him in run number 1 with a 75. Got a full pull top to bottom. Maybe a grab or two that was missed that Todd Richards with his eagle eye picked out.
Pat's got some interesting switch lines, which I think is going to really play to his wheelhouse today. Switch backside rodeo. Oh boy. Now, Mary, you know, what's the scene like in Europe as far as pipes? How many pipes are there for these guys to actually go and train in Europe these days?
Well, I think there's one at Lax, and I don't think they have them on the glaciers anymore. There's not that many. It's pretty hard to find pipes nowadays, both in the U.S., Canada, and Europe. I mean, it's not a lost art, as you can see, but sometimes finding a pipe could be a little bit of a mission.
It's like a trans-European Atlantic migration. When the competition starts, everyone heads to Colorado and
basically to copper.
Yeah,
I mean,
Copper's
got the best of everything, and it usually happens early on too. You know, you talk about a lot of riders coming here to train. There's been so many people that have been here since December, you know, and just made Colorado their base because of, you know, the effort that Copper Mountain puts in to put this Superpipe in.
Well, you've got 3 great competitions early on. You've got the Grand Prix, then you got X, and then you got the Dew Tour. Boom.
No reason to leave Colorado.
No question.
Mary, you and I have some friends from Snowboarder that have been trapped here for at least 17 days now.
Yes, I think they're going to be updating their licenses and just become residents at this point. They've really been enjoying it.
So Pat Bergner having a few issues there with some touches. He'll use this kind of as a training run-through.
I'm just going to point out something that I, as a perfectionist, do not like to see. I don't want to see your front arm wrapped around your knee. It's kind of just brings this weird, like, gymnast trampoline thing into snowboarding that I'm just not really down with.
They're giving this one a long look over, and they're going to take a look at every section. Maybe it's more technical than we're giving him credit for, but
no,
Pat
it was tech for sure. That run was definitely technical, a lot of switch moves, but kind of just on the execution.
Oh my, a 91 for Pat B, and Bergner goes into 3rd place.
Wow.
Judges liked it. It was a technical combo.
Yeah.
Switch backside 10, really clean.
So from 5th place to 3rd for Pat Bergner, and now the scores are really starting to warm up. 4 athletes now in the 90 club. Scotty James, Yuto Tatsuko, Pat Bergner, and Jan Shears, the 2 Swiss riders holding down 3rd and 4th. So Yuto will be the next one up. Youngest competitor in the field at 18, fresh off a huge win at the Grand Prix at Mammoth. And several athletes, as we pointed out, decided not to make the trip to the Sierras. They stayed here in Colorado and worked out on this modified Superpipe. And Yuto, Mary, get ready, because this first hit, once it gets into the traditional half pipe, is amazing.
You know, the Japanese riders, they have pop. Like, they are so good at transition riding. They're just animals. It's amazing. And I don't know how they do it, if it's something in the shoyu ramen, but they're great at riding half pipe.
Okay, starts off with a 10. This line's a little different. snaps up into a giant frontside 14. He puts that down like he's sleeping. That run was a little bit more technical. The combos up top were just a little bit better.
So Todd, he changed it up. He started off with the 14 last time. This time he starts with the 10 and then in the 14.
Yeah, but it's also about like how he transitioned from that hip feature in. His jump was more technical this run. You can see here. There's the alley backside rodeo setup. And then straight into this. Tail grab 9. I mean, it was really, the 1440, he's got this thing on such lock. Okay, this is just like getting the job done with the 1080. And then watch as he just locks into this frontside grab, holds on, commits to the second rotation right here with his head, then the late hip whip for the 1440. Wow.
That was insane.
Yeah. He makes it happen so easily while some people just struggle to get 900s around.
Look at this sky view.
It's just crazy that he can do a 14 and make it look like it's just a stock trick for him. That's just blows my mind.
Yeah, he almost blew himself out there on the entrance into the pipe over the little curb. But watch this. It was huge. It's the biggest thing he's doing. And usually, like in his half pipe runs, the 1440, he's got the most confidence in that trick that he just throws it way up above the lip.
So Yuto already sitting on a 92. He's one spot behind the leader. And it'll be an 86.
Wow.
So the judges did not think
that's
it
a
was
little
better.
weird, because I think that was a little bit better than his first run, actually.
So he remains in second place with the 92 behind Scotty James. Taylor Gold having issues on the modified portion of the Superpipe. See what he does to change things up here. Coming off a great showing not only at Mammoth, but at X Games.
And Mary, what's his story? He's coming back from a pretty horrendous year of injury, isn't he?
Yeah, I mean, Taylor, you know, in the last couple of years, he's pretty much been a staple in the contest circuit, and he's been notably absent. But, you know, this is a sport where sometimes you got to pay to play, and it's, for halfpipe riders in particular, it's all about getting healthy if you have anything happen, and he looks like he's been able to.
Oh, again, the same spot.
Oh, man.
Taylor, a lot of pressure for run number 3, and he's got that new trick, the double Michael Chuck 1080. I want to see him do it. I want to see him get a chance to throw it.
So Taylor Gold out of Steamboat Springs, Colorado. His sister, an Olympic medalist from Pyeongchang, Ariel. He's just going to blow right through the crowd and head right back to the top.
Yeah, there's nothing more. This trick is truly unique, though. It's like this alley-oop 360, kind of like a flat spin 360 over the channel.
Just got loose in the air.
Yeah, I think he was going for maybe more of a spin and kind of tried to stop himself. Because before that, he was trying to do a switch backside 9 right there, and that was just a kind of a pedestrian switch backside 540. You can tell that he's really concentrating on trying to set up that double Michael Chuck 1080.
So here's Toby Miller. We saw him do something really strange and unique on the first 2 hits here in the modified section as the 19-year-old from Mammoth gets set to drop in on run number 2. Todd, Mary, we're hoping, fingers crossed, he gets a full pull here, because I want to see what he does once he gets into the traditional Superpipe.
Mary, I want to get your take on these first 2 tricks, because I don't, they're really weird.
Yeah, Mary, tell us what he's doing.
Yes, okay, I'm going to try. You know, I do like Toby's riding a lot. He's also one of the nicest kids ever. Let's see what he's doing here.
Watch this.
Oh, wow.
Okay, now watch this second one. This one is bonkers. Double Barrett roll and tries to late 180 at the end.
That's crazy.
Unique. I mean, I don't think I've ever seen anyone do this.
Is that kind of like a double take on the eliminator, but kind of a reverse eliminator? I feel like maybe that was.
It's the late 180 that kind of has you like, what?
I don't even know what an eliminator is. Okay.
It has to do with either taking off for landing 90, but then making the landing.
I think he wanted to. I think he wanted like the late hip whip 180 on that, kind of the opposite way. That is a crazy move. Obviously, he's done it before. This isn't the first time he's trying it.
Wow. Well, Toby, too, growing up at Mammoth, I mean, they have some of the best, training ground jumps in transition for anyone. So it's a good place to try really interesting things. But that was so unique. I've never seen anything like that.
I want to see it happen.
Current standing, Scotty James leads the way with a 95.3. Yuto Tatsuko in second. Pat Bergner currently sitting in third as Chase Josie now drops in for his second.
I like that. It's such a simple trick, but it's really hard to land up high. Here we go. 900 setup, much better run so far. That curb right there is going to take somebody out today if you don't get that line perfect. So we go into the final hit. There's the double chuck.
So Chase getting 3 hits in the Superpipe.
That was a flat landing. Very flat.
Always very excited to see Chase put one down like that.
And you think about, Chase and Taylor Gold, they're kind of like that generation of kids who kind of came up on the U.S. snowboard team as the pipe jocks. Yeah. But it's cool to see them be able to put something different together. And they're all, like I was saying, they're all really good jumpers. And I'm going to reiterate that point, that it's great to see these guys out of their element.
They really are. I mean, Chase is a stock person that comes every year to Super Park, our big springtime event at Snowboarder Mag. And this past year, he was riding the quarter pipe. I think we had like a 20-foot quarter pipe or 28-foot, it was something ridiculous. It was a massive quarter pipe. Mm-hmm. And he was riding it so well. He's great at riding any sort of transition. So it's really awesome to be able to see him in this varied environment.
I would like to see in the next coming years, I'm just dropping a light, mellow hint on the Dew Tour, an overall, someone that competes in slopestyle and competes in pipe, and to have that kind of overall, like, can you do all of it?
81 for Chase Josie, so a nice improvement for him as he jumps up into the top 5 as we are down to the final 2 here in run number 2. Danny Davis had a good run. Not Danny Davis standards, a 68.33, which has him in 8th place right now, but gosh, what he's capable of doing, really getting the judges to scratch their head and go, what did we just see? I mean, talk about someone that's at the forefront of progression and wanting to push the sport. I think Danny Davis is there, Todd, when it was getting into the whole spin to win movement. Danny Davis was the first one to come back and say, no, let's bring style back into it.
Yeah, you just need to make it your own. Frontside 720 over the gap. And I mean, Danny and his Peace Park events are really, they're responsible for this modified Superpipe. Mary, did you get a chance to go through Danny Davis's Peace Park here at Copper?
I haven't yet because I think it got buried before I got to check it out. Everyone was saying it was the most fun area. Oh, wow.
Danny making a full run. That was great.
Mary Walsh with a confession that she spent the last 2 days writing powder.
I know, no one judged me, but it was really great.
Yeah. High caliber journalist. She went out and got the story, which was powder the last 2 days. And Danny Davis with a stellar second run.
You got to get in the trenches, Mary.
Exactly. You got to really, I can't be here if I'm not actually making turns, right? It's all about your street cred.
Tough day at the office.
Frontside 720 by Danny over the channel, sets him up for the 9. There is the McTwist, pulling it up behind him. And then straight into the front side 1080 right here. Actually, where are we here? Yeah, that's big front side 900 in the beginning. That set him up for the McTwist. Pulls it up behind him. And then straight into the front side 10.
He went full Jimmy Scott on this run. He milked it. He got every little ounce out of this.
Let's not throw around the whole Jimmy Scott thing here.
The milkman, Jimmy Scott.
Danny Davis went bigger on his first hit than Jimmy did in 3 contests.
It seems bigger. I just said he milked it.
Yeah, he was the milkman. He did get 3 hits out. Watch this as he comes up into the first hit. Nice frontside 900. And the McTwist, the way that Danny does that trick and the way that his board kind of rotates around his body is unique. And then into the frontside double cork 10. That's what Danny wanted. What is this going to score like? I mean, yeah, we're hyped on it, but we've already seen like a giant front 12 to back 12. And I still don't think it's as technical as Yuto's and Pat Bergner's run either.
It's going to be an improvement, no question about it, from his 60 offering, and it's going to be an 85. So Danny Davis in to the top 5 and still proud to be rocking the lavender as we send it down to Tina Dixon.
It was smooth, it was big, it was very Danny Davis style. Danny, give us your assessment of that run.
I was hanging on a little after the cab 9. I noticed I ditched some speed there. I haven't done a front 10 all week, so that was nice. And just having fun. It's good. I was hoping the sun was going to shine a little harder on that run, but yeah.
How important are these types of contests for you where you can just go out, maybe have a little bit less stress?
Yeah, it's fun. I mean, there's only 10 of us or however many are in it, so that's always nice, so we don't have to have qualification. Just makes it a little more free riding, We don't have to stress about putting a run down and making it to finals. We get to just kind of lay it all out. As you saw in the first round, the boys were just putting down. So it's a nice format to have.
Yeah. It's always fun to see you out here. Thanks, Danny.
Yeah, thank you.
Danny Davis currently sitting in 5th place with an 85 on his second offering. A fan favorite, no question about it. Scotty James still leads the way as he gets ready for run number 2. The defending champion with a 95.33. All right, Mary, if you were advising Scotty James and you haven't lost in 2 years and you're sitting first with a 95, what would you tell him?
Oh my gosh. Well, I would say, I'd send it a little bit. I'd up the levels a little bit. You're in your room. You have 3.33 points ahead of the second place Yuto, and I'd go for it.
Here's my prediction. He's going to throw a different combo in the pipe. I think he's going to set himself up for a switch backside 1080.
I would love to see that.
I don't know where it's going to. Oh, here it is right here. Sets up, switch. Switch back 10. No problem. Thank you. Check, please.
Wow. Nostradamus Richards.
Wow.
And then into the backside 12.
All right.
Wow.
Come on.
Now all I really want to see on his third run is a big Scotty James method. Just massive method.
Look,
straight method.
Here's what I'm going to throw out there. If he's in the lead, I don't want any of that baloney where you ride down the side of the pipe and you 5-5 anyone. I'm sorry. As a viewer and as a fan, I want to see you chuck yourself through the air.
Leave that in Aspen.
I like this switch Michael Chuck where he kind of almost wheelies down the lip. And then Scotty bringing his jump skills. Double cork 900. Pops it, 180 in, set up.
Good on you, Todd.
Dude, I know this dude. And then here we go. This is the switch dub 1080. That trick, he could just keep doing that in his runs. There's not really too many people that can step to that. And he also has the 1260 version of that as well, which is ridiculous. And then just into a back double 12 at the bottom here. Thanks, Scott.
Thanks for coming.
Nice work.
95.33 was his first run score. Does he go up higher? No, he does not. A 94.33. A 94.3 is his consolation prize. How is that possible?
Okay, so they like front 12s. They like front 12s. Today, flavor of the day.
So a 95.3 remains the mark to beat after 2 runs in the men's snowboard modified Superpipe here at Dew Tour 2020. As Scotty James continues to dazzle, his 2-run scores better than anyone else's. Scotty James on top, Yuto Tatsuko, Pat Bergner, Jan Scheer, and Danny Davis, the king of style, showing what he can do in the modified Superpipe. We appreciate your efforts, Danny. This is the Dew Tour, built by Mountain Dew.
That was weird.
It's getting through the tunnel before 3 o'clock. Welcome back to Copper Mountain Dew Tour 2020 as we are on to the 3rd and final round of the men's snowboard modified Superpipe. Todd Richards, Mary Walsh, Todd Harris, and Tina Dixon here, and the team challenge, Mary, this is something that so much snow came in the first 2 days, and it didn't bother the folks in the team challenge because everyone went out there and had fun.
You could really see that everyone was having such a good time on the team challenge. Honestly, the team challenge is one of my favorite events of the calendar year. It's so rad to get that like collaborative vibe between riders that don't usually get to do that at all.
And, and you see people in there that don't usually compete, and I think that's my favorite part is like...
Me too.
Puts the pressure on. There was the tribute to Jake Burton. You know, that was a really cool thing, and we've been, throwing out to Jake Burton all weekend. I completely believe that he was responsible for the 4 feet of snow that we got here.
Yes, I think Jake would love a powder day during the contest, for sure.
Thank you, Jake.
And there we see Danny Davis, who got the high score in the team competition for the modified Superpipe.
Honestly, too, Danny, one of my absolute favorite riders. I'm not trying to be biased, but I'm not a judge, so I can say he's probably one of my absolute favorite riders to watch in the halfpipe.
Yeah. You know what was cool, though, with the street jams and all that stuff? Everyone was just out there sessioning, having a good time. But in the team challenge, there was all that trading going on, trying to pick up, she's really good in the rails. Let's get her on our team. And I just love that.
It was so great. I was fired up during the women's street style last night. That was one of the best women's competitions I've seen.
Yeah, this whole weekend has just been ups and downs between powder and the team comp and the rail comp. This has been something to do the entire weekend.
Team Oakley getting that team challenge victory as we look to the standings. Scotty James on top, 95.33. Backed it up with a 94.33, but didn't need it. Yuto Tatsuko sitting there with a 92, and Pat Bergner in third right now with a 91. So to get on a podium right now, you're going to need better than a 91. So Louis Vito will be the first one to take a whack at the 91 or better, see if he can get himself on the podium. The 31-year-old five-time Dew Tour champion. Todd, 5 or 6 years ago, Louis Vito was a staple on the podium.
Yeah, and then, Louis kind of refocused himself a little bit. Still rides a ton, just kind of stepped away from competition. Sets in right there with a 540 over the channel. And, Louis comes to Dew Tour. He's got, unfortunately for Louis, goes down.
That section gave the skiers issues in the ski modified pipe because there's so much loose snow over there.
But he's always here. He's always at Dew Tour. He's got a lot of sponsor obligations. He's still one of the most
Wasn't he one of your tenants back in Colorado back in the day?
Yeah. Look, the cannonball. The truck driver, that was a perfect example of the flying meatball. Is where you grab with both hands and you just double it up over twice. He looks back up there like, did I lose an earbud?
Yeah, exactly. So Louis' day is done. He'll hold on to the 70 that he got on run number 1. Jan Scheer came out on run number 1. Usually that takes the judges a little while to warm up, kind of like a good set of hand warmers, but he threw down a 90 on run number 1.
Yeah, I like this. I like the way he starts this run off here with this big switch McTwist. It's crazy how easy that is for him. And there's that nose grab, 900. It's got to be crazy though, Mayor. Like when you come in and you see Scotty James throw down like that, like what that must do to your confidence.
I can't imagine what these guys, how they keep composure and kind of stay in their own game without getting it out of their head. I mean, that would intimidate me. And they're all riding so well, but I mean, Scotty James just comes in. He's kind of the top dog right now. He's doing so well, and he's so effortless. He never appears stressed, really, so that alone would intimidate me at the top.
The Aussie in him.
So another question that I have, too, is it oftentimes happens when the guy is the winningest. People start to build up an animosity towards you, and it's hard to imagine someone being bummed on Scotty James because he is a very personable human, but it does happen.
But I think to your point, Todd, though, what people love about him is he doesn't sit on a stock run. He's always coming with something different, changing things up like he did from run to number 2.
Yeah. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens on run 3. You better not come down and high five
the fans from the side.
You're building my animosity if you do that. But, you saw that Miller flip here at the end of that run. He had a nice front side 1260 in there as well. Let's check it out from above. You can see here, here's that front 12. Up and over the double. Can't believe that trick is just like stock now, that people just do that in their run. And then ending things off with that Miller flip. So I don't think it was as good as his first run.
No. And he'll hold on to a 90.33. So Jan Scheer with a nice little bump up of 0.33, which keeps him in 4th place behind Pat Bergner. Jake Pates now. Young man out of originally Boulder, Colorado, calling Eagle his home just up the road here on the 70. Speaking of the 70 and Eagle, did you see the lines at Vail the other day? I mean, we thought tons of people came to Copper for the powder. Vail, it was like 200 yards long of people. It was crazy.
Don't go to Vail.
Is it because they're all stuck? They're all stuck
Stay
overnight
here at Copper.
Right there is the switch alley-oop rodeo. Straight into a cab, double 900, throwing the brakes on. And then dropping in here into the modified super. I think he kind of missed the grab on that front 12 yet again. Yep. He knows it. And it's just all about, you know, as Scotty James said, you've got to be so precise. What was that?
Little Ben Ferguson style move right there.
The front side blender.
Yeah.
So Jake Pates will have to hold on to run number 1, which was a 78.66.
You know, I do like the beginning of that run, the switch alley-oop rodeo flip. I'm trying to think who invented that. Was it Pete Line? It might have actually been Chad Otterstrom. Was the first person
Chad
to do
Otterstrom,
the switch backside rodeo.
now.
That's challenging
540.
to do a trick invented by one of the people judging potentially. You got to do it perfectly.
Yes, you do.
Pat, either making a call or
Oh, he ain't making a call.
making a call or
You know
sending
what
a text
international
or
rates
getting
are
his
these
music.
days? Exchange rates.
So Pat Bergener came out on run number 2, kind of surprised us. Very tech run. The judges responded to it, and he got a 91. So he currently sits in 3rd place.
So he'll be looking for his big power move is going to be the switch backside 1080, kind of like Scotty James is. There we go, Pat. 720 over the channel. Sets up switch in here. Switch alley-oop rodeo flip. Just a kind of a pedestrian giant crippler. Air to nothing.
I think he knows with that hand drag there on that transition area.
What we call that is called the jack in the box. Is when
Are you just making stuff up on the fly now?
No,
is this legit? Mary, is this legit?
I mean, I do trust what Todd says about tricks, so I'll
But have you ever heard of a jack in the box?
Let me explain it to you.
Not exactly.
Let me explain what happens here. As we get down there, we'll explain the jack in the box. First, we're going to stick to what actually happened in his run that was pretty good here. Comes in, you know, it's kind of a little bit off his line, but basically it's when you get spit out the top of the lip and nothing happens. It's just like the jack in the box.
Thumbs up for Pat Burst. He's going to hold on to that 91, which has him in a podium position. We'll see if he stays there. We've got 6 more athletes to drop in. Yuto Tatsuka, and everyone's going to see, can Yuto pull this run all the way top to bottom, be clean? You know there's going to be a sighting of a 14. Does he do a 14 and a 10 when he gets in the pipe again, or does he back things up and give them something else? He needs to overtake Scotty James, 95.33 to move into the lead.
I'm trying to think if Yuto has back-to-back 14s. I knew Ayumu did.
I think he could, but does he do it? I mean, is this set up to where he could do that?
Okay, so, I mean, basically the way that he would improve on this run is putting another 14 right behind that.
Or does he go 12 to 14 from it instead of a 10 to 14? So many rotations.
Okay, the alley-oop 3. There's that dub. So this is where we're going to be switching things up here if he's going to. There's that giant frontside 14, even bigger. What's he got this time? Yep. Oh! Switch 12.
Just do that?
Switch
insane.
double 1260.
Oh my God.
Oh, now the judges have something to think about. So he had a 10 to a 14 and a 14 to a 10. He goes 14 to a 12 and does it switch.
Oh my God. This is when I think Scotty James is up there. Still very casual,
Yeah.
very mellow, but probably a little concerned.
Ay, ay, ay.
Okay, so the alley-oop 3. The run started off. I mean, it was almost like he was just waiting. You know, not
To
a lot
unleash.
of fireworks up top here, just kind of getting through it. I mean, he did do a beautiful double 900. And then this giant frontside 14.
Check out the travel.
He does that trick the best. So smooth. And then into this. You don't see a lot of people doing a switch double 1260. It's probably so hard. I mean, I'm saying probably because there's no way in hell I would ever find myself in this position.
But look how smooth. I mean,
That landing was amazing.
Yeah, that was perfect.
high on the wall, very little compression.
That's a big
and the
score.
claim.
That's going to be a big score.
Is it bigger than a 95.3?
You don't see a switch frontside 1260. So the judges are going to take that into consideration.
Yep. And it was on the heels of a 14
And
in the
unexpected.
Superpipe. Yeah, 93.33, so it does not overtake Scotty James, but he moves up even farther into second place. Not that second was ever in a doubt, but 93.3, Todd, I hate to say this, I think he got underscored a little bit.
Yeah, maybe a little, but I still think, Scotty's run was a little bit more technical.
Yeah.
But I do think that Scotty James's second run was more technical than his first run.
Okay.
So, that switch 10 out of the giant 14, but maybe up top he left a little to be desired on the gap feature and then the hip.
And the good news is we're only halfway through the third and final run here in the final. The second 5 now to drop in as Yudo just hammers a 93.3. All eyes turn to Taylor Gold, second at last week's Grand Prix in Mammoth out of Steamboat Springs, Colorado. Coming off the injury trail, seeing him good, riding good. Now this is the trick that's given him problems the first 2 runs.
If he can get through this, goes down.
So what's the problem there, Todd? What's going on? Does he need to just take out 180-degree rotation or what?
Well, he probably did, but then again, he saw what everyone was doing. And third and final run, when you're kind of behind the ball, you have to go for it. And you want to go home as well. I mean, it's like you want to have a great showing for yourself. Even if you only put in half a run, you want to look good. That trick is so strange. And he tries to whip the end of that switch backside 900 around. Yeah, it just wasn't going to happen for him. But unfortunately for Taylor, he didn't get a chance to unleash that new trick. But we'll probably see Taylor at the big snowboarder event at the end of the year, the Superpipe.
Yes, definitely. We love to see him there. And that's just kind of nice, too, because this is can be a stressful situation at Superpark. You can kind of just let it go and relax and just, hit some big jumps.
Speaking of stressful situations, you are looking at my man Toby Miller out of Mammoth, and he needs to get up and go. He's currently sitting in last place, but with a 3-run format, it doesn't matter. He can win it all right here. He's sitting on a high score of 15.3. If he can get to the traditional Superpipe in one piece, Mary, we may see something.
I'm excited. I'd love to see him link these 2 very interesting tricks with the bottom piece.
This is the one that I want to see him land.
Gets it.
There it is, the switch double roll. So coming in here into the Superpipe, he's got doubles.
Oh, Toby.
So he gets through the first 2 hits, and it's the third one that does him in.
Yeah, and Toby, I mean, he is the next generation of pipe riders. I think that, you're going to see him for years and years to come. But I really like this right here.
Just
the nollie, basically like a nollie long dart flip
into
180.
the blue yonder.
That angle is amazing.
That trick is so bonkers. Weird, like double front flip thing, barrel roll.
Yeah, it's challenging too because it really does look like a complex setup going into the pipe. So,
and unfortunately goes down right here. Isn't able to hold on to that 1080, but that's not the last that we're going to see of this kid.
He'll probably make a showing at a little event called the Burton U.S. Open in a few weeks. Toby Miller gets a 31 on that third offering. So Scotty James still out in front with a 95.3. Yudo in second with a 93. And Pat Bergner in with a 91. 3-run format. Only your best run counts. And we are now down to the final 3 competitors here. It'll be Chase Josie, Danny Davis, and then Scotty James. Now, Scotty James, if Danny Davis or Chase Josie do not overtake that 95.33, Todd Richards does not want to see high fives down the side of the pipe. He wants to see something big from the Aussie. Business at hand, Chase Josie out of Sun Valley, Idaho.
And another place where there's not a lot of half pipes. You don't really think of pipes in Idaho. And it really kind of just speaks to how many people come out here to Colorado. It's become the competitive hotbed of snowboarding. Would you say, Mary?
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, early season, Copper gets their pipe. Woodward Copper gets their pipe up very early, and everyone just flocks to it. It's an oasis of transition training.
Nice run.
That was a full top to bottom for Chase Josie. I think it's going to put him in the conversation for the top 5. Maybe bump up a point. The explosiveness of a giant frontside 1440 or potentially switch backside tricks that are just so mind-boggling, but not taking anything away from this run. That backside 900 was very clean. Much better approach into the pipe on this run. And then up and over, Gets both hands on it. There's that 1080. You can see the windup right here. Drops that shoulder down. Very awkward grabbing in between your legs like that with the backhand. You can see, here's another look at it right here. That backhand in between the legs. You don't see that a lot in skateboarding. I believe it's called a Stalemaski grab. And then there is the double backside rodeo to finish off that run. So clean, top to bottom. He's hyped on it. That is the seldom seen I have hot hands claim.
Get in the top 5, he'll need better than an 85. That's where Danny Davis sits with that 5th. Get on the podium, he's going to need better than a 91.
I do think he's going to bump up. I think that run had some ingredients that would potentially put him into a top 5 position.
So Chase waiting on the scores from the judges, currently sitting on an 81 in this 3-run format. His day is done, but where will he end up on the final tally? Wow, they are really thinking about this one. Meanwhile, it's Danny Davis, the last man with an opportunity to knock off Scotty James, who will go last, as Danny waits for the score as well.
There's nothing worse than sitting down there and waiting for that score to come up.
And having the camera on you, so you're just trying to play it cool.
Here we go. Wow, Chase
there we go.
Josie onto the podium with a 90. 90.66 for Chase Josie out of Sun Valley. So Pat Bergener saying, hey, thanks a lot. I'm no longer on the podium. So down to the final 2, Danny Davis, and then the man who reigns supreme in the half pipe, Scotty James. Will he be forced into something big? Can Danny Davis unseat Scotty James in the 95.3?
I want to see Danny play to his strengths. Don't put yourself in the box where you think you need to do 1080s. I want to see Danny Davis do a giant backside 360 into a huge switch air, a huge Pop-Tart, something that you don't usually see, and make the judges work.
That's where Danny really shines too, and where the crowd just goes wild also. It's why he become the people's half-pipe rider.
Well, he's already switching up his run there, that big alley-oop, and then he switches it around. Big 900, that's the biggest one we've seen from him. Spit that out. From him so far. Big crippler. There's that big twist again. What's he got on this bottom hit? Whoa! Front 12 tail grab from Danny Davis. Reaching deep into the magic hat.
He had it.
Wow, love the tail grab on that trick too.
I guarantee you that he hasn't tried that trick in like 3 years.
Why not? Well, look at this one more time. Danny Davis.
I'd love to get a Tina Dixon reaction to that, because I guarantee you Danny hasn't even attempted that move in years.
12 with a tail grab, which not official yet, but Scotty James is going to probably walk away with a title here. Watch this one more time.
I like that right there. The alley-oop backside rodeo over the channel. Switches at 180. Very quickly thinking on his feet into this cab 900. Landing far down the landing. There's that big crippler. So that trick is just, it's not the most difficult trick, but it's one of the best looking. I like this McTwist too. Pulling it way up behind his back. And then straight here. Wind up. Front 12 from Danny Davis. Unfortunately comes up a little bit short on the rotation. I mean, I can just imagine what would the score be if Danny put down that front 12. The judges would have to give him those bonus points for, like, I did not expect that.
Shock value.
There's Brock Crouch, second place in slopestyle here at the Dew Tour.
So it will not be an improvement. Danny Davis will stay with the 85, and it will be Scotty James who claims yet another title.
Another.
Wow.
The winning streak continues for the Aussie, and he will have one more run. Now, the big question is, what does he do here?
Well, he better not do this whole shtick where he rides down the side of the half pipe.
I second that. I'd really like to see
I'm
some
a fan.
explosive
We're
stuff.
fans.
Exactly. I love Scotty's riding. He has so much style.
Well, he can't ride down completely because the modified's got the channel, so he's got to do something
Actually,
up top.
you know, I'll back that if he rides down the top half of the course. I'll back that because he's going to have to do tricks to make it over those gaps.
This is true. Scotty James taking the title here at Dew Tour 2020 from Copper, and he's going to do just some style counsel.
Switch method. There we go. Pops into the 360 into the method. Nice stale fish.
You got your wish.
Yeah, I like it.
There
we go.
Go ahead and put that on the brochure.
There we go. Look, if you were looking to get some grams, he just delivered for you right there. Scotty,
look, he still got the high fives in.
Still works it in there.
Scotty James, a 95.33 and a 94.33. Certainly the man in the pipe today. Mary Walsh, we are in the administration of Scotty James, and it's going to rain for quite some time, I think.
Yes, you know what I think we can call it, Scotty James lives in sending season, and he just is always going for it. That's all it makes me think of. He's just always on one, very casually dominating the halfpipe circuit right now. It's great to see.
Let's send it down to Tina Dixon, who is with the winner.
Yeah, and Scotty told us earlier that today was a test. This event was a test. You had some challenges, yet you keep your winning streak alive. Where does this win sit for you?
Oh, it's up there, pretty high, honestly. I definitely, I never come into any competition expecting to win. I know all these guys are ripping. I know Yuto's definitely bringing it, and Danny ripped when the team challenge this week, and Taylor, and everyone's been riding so well, so I knew I had to bring my best, and to keep the streak alive is just the cherry on top.
When you have to adapt and you have to change to something different, what can you learn as a rider?
Yeah, I mean, adapting is huge. I would say, historically snowboarding's really come from a place where you got to express your creativity. Not every half pipe's the same, not every run's the same, and this course really channels that, and it's innovative. And I mean, even just then I almost fell coming out on my last run coming into the pipe. So a lot of elements that are very different, and we got to get used to them, and that's what makes this so unique.
And it was so much fun to watch. Another big congratulations for you, Scotty.
Thank you so much, and everyone, thank you so much for watching. Means the world to all of us out here riding. Cheers.
And cheers to you, Scotty James, with a 95.33 as he takes yet another victory. The 2-year win streak continues on here as he is the man at Dew Tour 2020 in the men's snowboard modified Superpipe.
Yeah, so Scotty James, we keep talking about this dominance, and this is the elephant in the room. Without Shaun White in competition, without Ayumu Hirano, who is now concentrating on making the Olympics for skateboarding for Japan, the door is wide open for Scotty James. How long will it be until he's challenged again? Well, I'm sure there's some kid that he's inspiring right now in some country somewhere who's getting ridiculously good without anyone knowing about it.
Scotty James now turns his attention on to the Burton U.S. Open, which comes up in the few weeks, and that kind of brings the curtain down on big competitive. There's another big event towards the end of the year as well. Scotty James, 95.33. Yuto Tatsuko in second, and Pat Bergner sitting in third with a 91. Chase Josie, the top-placed American, in fourth place with a 90.66, and Jan Scheer rounding out the top 5.
And just something to bring to the conversation as well. Dew Tour has influenced competition at this point as well, because U.S. Open is bringing a modified Superpipe to their competition format. So what Dew Tour has done, the innovation that they've started a couple years ago, is carrying on in snowboarding. Will we see a modified Superpipe situation in potentially Olympics someday?
It's all about the progression, and I got to give credit out to Pat Bergner. I think I said that Chase Josie overtook him to be on the podium. Pat Bergner stayed on the podium. Chase was right behind him in fourth place, the top-placed American. Mary Walsh, Todd Richards, Todd Harris with you. Wow, we've seen a little bit of everything, and progression, Mary, really the name of the game is and to Todd's point, does this change things up moving forward for an event like the Olympics where they say, you know what, we got to freshen things up as well?
I really hope so, because I think, halfpipe, it goes in waves, and there's been so much progression lately, but then you kind of hit a little point where you're like, let's mix up the course, and Dew Tour really has catalyzed that. And I think if we could see that in other courses like the Open go to the Olympics, I would love to watch a modified pipe in the Olympics. That would be amazing.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that anytime that you can kind of mix it up, shake it up a little bit, especially with it just gets so boring with this cookie cutter runs, and you're basically competing in a formulaic fashion. I don't want that. That is not snowboarding.
Yep. No,
snowboarding is all about, like Danny Davis said, being creative, bringing what you're, these different elements from slopestyle, from the rail game into one venue. That's what the kids want to see. That's what I want to see. It's up to you guys out there to demand it.
Exactly. Take away the spin to win mentality and really throw in some curveballs. The riders adapt. You know, you don't become a good half-pipe rider without being able to ride your snowboard.
Very true.
You can hit jumps. You can ride any sort of transition.
It'll be interesting to see what happens over the course of the next 2 years, because in the Olympic cycle, kind of things change and people start going, oh, I got to do something different. And that's not until 2022. So we've got some time, but you got to like the way snowboarding is trending right now. With the modified Superpipe, the way people are riding, it's impressive. Pat Bergner on the podium with a fantastic run. Pat is very stoked because he thought, because of Todd Harris, he was going to be in 4th place, and he's not. He's in 3rd place. Chase Josie with a 90.66, which is just below a 91, which keeps him in the podium. But Yuto, this kid, I feel like there's still more. He still has more.
I think so too, and you think back to the Olympics when we were in Pyeongchang, that slam that he took, I mean, that would have taken out someone completely from the sport, and he's come back so strong, and like I said before, there's a big gap right now, and to come up and throw down against this dude right here, the undisputed champ.
If you have access to the intranet, you might want to go up and look on Yuto Tatsuko's crash in Pyeongchang. And Todd, we were there. They took him off on the sled. I thought he might be done.
That's it.
And he shakes it off. And here he is now pushing Scotty James at every single competition. But Scotty James, I mean, guys, back-to-back, a 94 and a 95?
Yeah, the only suggestion I have for the other competitors is steal those mitts. You
Yes.
get those mitts away from him.
Kryptonite. That might be his kryptonite if he doesn't have those gloves.
I was wondering the same thing.
Scotty James with the win, Yuto Tatsuko in 2nd, and Pat Bergner definitely on the podium in 3rd place. Todd, as you pointed out, Scotty James, people may be bummed on him winning so much, but he's a hard guy not to like. Mary, you've been around him a lot. He's just good people.
He's amazing. He did a board test with us a couple years for a week up at Mammoth, and he's hilarious. He's so relaxed, and he's super funny.
Here is the run that put him on top. Let's talk about it one more time.
Scotty James, what can you say about him? He's got the most technical back-to-back combos in the half pipe right now. And just, to give him a little more puff piece right here, he's got a really funny web series. Like you said, he is hilarious. It's weird because I've known Scotty since he was a little kid when he used to travel around with Tora Bright as like their little sidekick Grom. And now he's just really come into his own. The pride of Australia, and who would have thought that Australia would produce so many good half-pipe riders when, the half-pipes there are not really that good.
So once again, the final results in the men's snowboard modified Superpipe. It is Scotty James, Yuto Tatsuko, and Pat Bergner in 3rd place.
Yeah, and Pat, coming out, doing some really technical runs as well. You got to wonder, Mare, what's next for these guys? Is it laying low for 3 or 4 days, or is it just straight into like another photo shoot, another contest? I mean, what's the vibe out there?
I mean, I would say I bet a couple of them are riding powder, so I bet their legs are a little tired right now after that into the competition. So if I were Scotty James, I would definitely relax for at least 24 hours. And then I would probably resume, get right back into it.
Yuto's only 18. He doesn't need to rest.
Exactly, too. I envy that. I wish I felt that way.
Yeah, it's just, it's a diet of candy and high fructose corn syrup that keeps people going at that age.
God, I wish I could have that diet.
Right? Seriously. And look at this. But I'm talking about giant frontside 1440s. Just the way that he rides out of stuff, he's so upright in the flat bottom of the pipe. There's just so much confidence. He's very comfortable being 15 feet out on every trick.
It's really amazing. I mean, he is kind of the next part of the lineage of amazing Japanese half-pipe riders that kind of started right with Kazu back in the day, or is there one before him? You can tell me if I'm correct.
No, there really wasn't. Up until, Kazu, there really wasn't too many people coming out of Japan. Japan always had strong riders, but they weren't the ones you would typically see in the top 5.
Yeah, and they all have this the same ability to make this look so easy.
Yeah.
They're so explosive, they get so much airtime, and they just make it look like it's not a big deal, which is kind of freaks me out. It's really cool.
Well, it only takes one to inspire a nation, and that's, you think back, that's what Tora Bright did for a kid like Scotty James. She went home with a gold medal from the Olympics, and I think an Olympic medal will be hanging around his. It's going to be colored gold very soon.
It's all about the gloves. Once again, men's snowboard modified Superpipe goes to Scotty James, Yuto in 2nd, Pat Bergner in 3rd. When we come back, we're switching over to the Slopestyle course as the women take center stage.